You, Shelley. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our October IDG Lunch and Learn. We're going to be discussing all things AMD with Chris Stocker and your AMD team here at Ingram Micro. For those of you who are new to this month, my name is Alyssa Unterborn. I'm your Category Development Executive for our your Lenovo IDG or Client Solutions business. I always start our trainings with some housekeeping and reminders. Your $25 Grubhub has a bit of a delay, so we do apologize. So keep an eye out for that. We are working on that. Technology's great, as we all know. So that'll be good once loaded until 11:30 p.m. your local time. Click apply on that homepage once you get it, or when you go to check out, you'll also have the opportunity to do so as well. Next, there is a new partner SMB promotion with Lenovo that's going to be running while supplies last until November 13th. There are no maximums, just like our last quarter promotion. Everything's stackable with our current programs and discounts. Rebates are up to $400 off on your products, ranging from ThinkBooks to towers. Products must ship out by that 13th on the 13th. To get that discount, please reach out to your Ingram Lenovo team to get the full promotion details. Next, Lenovo announced a price action on select ThinkPad models, focusing on our AMD processors. This product price drop will save you hundreds depending on the SKU and product. So please reach out to our team and myself today if you'd like to know those associated products that were affected by this pricing action. Now I have a Lenovo accessories update. Lenovo is partnering with EPOS for our Gen 2 ANC audio. We're going to be starting with the wired products. So with the wired accounts, this accounts for about 90% of that US market. It has the enhanced comfort, lighter weight with less pressure, has a 2-year warranty as opposed to the 1 year, and has Microsoft Teams and UC versions. We've gotten great feedback on these headsets, and we're happy to give out samples for opportunities of quantity 100 or more. Next, as we approach 2024, I want everybody to keep in mind as our partners that Ingram Micro is back in the Chrome EDU education space. Please make sure to include us on your conversations and planning so we can collaborate together and develop a strategy for the next education season. Also, make sure to register for our November 8th Partner Lunch and Learn. This is going to be giving you all updates on our Lenovo Smart Collaboration Solutions. The registration link is going to be dropped in the chat. And just a reminder that this November Lunch and Learn will be our last of 2023. We will be restarting our Lunch and Learns in January 2024. Lastly, just a reminder, our ISG Tech Talk Tuesdays with Pratik Patel will be on October 17th this month, and he's going to be continuing that discussion on all things artificial intelligence. If it makes sense for your business, that link will be dropped in the chat for registration. Thank you all again for joining us today. I will now pass it over to Sam Schmidt to kick us off with some AMD introductions.
Thanks, Alyssa. Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining. I just wanted to take a quick second to introduce myself. Sam Schmidt. I work for AMD. I manage the Ingram Micro account, all things branded. And so Alyssa gave a little plug there on the ISG side too. So we've joined Pratik in those tech talks. They're really, really awesome. So if you need anything from AMD directly, whether it's a resource, some type of engagement on your sales floor with your technical folks, we'd be really happy to do that and co-sponsor with Ingram Micro and Lenovo to bring a really awesome collaborative approach to your organization if you need training, resources, collateral. I'm really thankful for the Lenovo team here. And if you need anything, please just reach out and I will pass it along to Dana.
Thanks, Sam. Hello, everyone. My name is Dana Brooks. I am the new program manager for AMD client and server, and I work closely with our OEMs like Lenovo. I am based out of Buffalo, New York at Ingram Micro. I've been with the company for 26 years and just recently took on a new position. Looking forward to working closely with the Alyssa and team to help grow the business. And with that, I'll pass it over to Chris.
Great, thank you. I'll give you guys an overview of kind of what's changing with AMD, what's new and happening. So when we look at the roadmap, hopefully this is not the first time you've seen this, but the changes should always be there on the right. AMD has really prided ourselves on the Zen architecture roadmap that we've put in place and being able to kind of meet the timelines that we've put out saying that we'd release those products. So new for this year is Zen 4. We still do have some Zen 3 as well as even Zen 2 products around. Really, we're taking a look at the marketplace and finding that there's different areas, some that are more price sensitive, some that need more performance, some that have various needs in the marketplace. And so AMD is really trying to adapt our Zen architectures to really meet different customer needs. Now, when we look at kind of what that looks like this year with those products, really there's kind of three main mobile products. The desktop has not been updated yet, so it'll still be the same desktop, the Ryzen 5000 series that you're used to, but on the mobile side, there'll really be three main products, kind of looking at the entry level mainstream and then kind of that top end device. So the 7020 series based off of the Zen 2, 7030 series based off the Zen 3, and that 7040 series based off the Zen 4 architecture. Now, if you're looking really closely at that, you may notice that what's changing is that third digit, and it's telling you what Zen architecture is inside of those processors. AMD wanted to make it easy for a customer to be able to look and understand, oh, I'm getting Zen 2, I'm getting Zen 3, I'm getting Zen 4. And so when you look at the naming scheme of the mobile products, that third digit is going to tell you that architecture that is being used. So really this generation, just that Zen 3, Zen 4, and then Zen 2. In the future, there'll be 5 when we release our Zen 5 architecture. If you were to go, look at some of the consumer systems, walk into Best Buy, those kind of things, you may see some other products that have a 5 at the end with this last digit. That's really telling you that it's using one of these plus type architectures, or it's a special segmented model. Right now, we're not using any of those in the commercial space, but just in case you were curious on, hey, I saw something, on a Amazon Prime Day ad and it had a 5 at the end. That's really just telling you kind of those upper focused product lines within there. But again, for the commercial, it's really that 7020, 7030, and 7040 series. And the first few digits, so that first digit really tells you when it was released and what it's focused on. So 7 being 2023 released, focused mainly on the 2023 year. Doesn't mean that suddenly in 2024 those products are going to go end of life. That really depends on the life cycle of an OEM system. As an example, Lenovo's L14, those were released a few months back. They will continue on into 2024, but it's really this first digit is focusing in on the release time frame. And then the second digit has been this way for a long time. This is really just telling you where it falls in the lineup. So is it a 7, Ryzen 7? Is it a 9, Ryzen 9, 5, Ryzen 5? Those kind of numbering that we've had for a long time with our all the way from Athlon all the way up to our Ryzen 9 products. And then at the end, you have a U for really being focused in around that 15 watt. We can technically raise that TDP depending on what an OEM wants to use that for, but really focused in on a 15 watt. And then HS being a higher end, focused on a 35 watt plus. You'll see those more in mobile workstation type devices with those higher wattage processors. And then you may also see some C, right now none in the Lenovo lineup, but if you do see a C, those are the Chromebook focused products in that setup there. So when you look at kind of what we're doing with these transitions, AMD's focus is really bringing the best business ready, or even education, government, any of that kind of stuff ready device within there. And we're looking at doing that across a few pillars within there. So one, we want to be able to make sure that the end users are able to get the performance out of the device that they need to be productive, that they can be able to do great collaboration like we're doing right now on a Teams call. Really, again, focusing in on choosing the right Zen architecture so that we can maximize ROI. Does the customer need more performance, or is cost the higher item within there? Do they need a little bit of a longer life cycle? All these kind of things, looking at the ROI within there. And then looking to the future, what can we do to be able to have a device that's ready today for future technology like AI. AI is a big topic, and we'll talk about that a little bit in there. And then also sustainability and power efficiency. So being able to get great battery life from these devices, but also being able to have a device that's going to be able to be efficient over the life cycle. When you think of a user using their device 8 or 9 hours a day, every day, the more power that it uses, sooner or later you're going to have to plug in, charge from the wall, and that is eating up carbon, all those kind of things when you have to charge that. And so a lot of people are concerned about their carbon footprint. So having more efficient notebooks and desktops helps you meet that capability. So these are kind of the key areas that AMD is looking across the lineup with those devices. Now, when we look, I'll spend most of the time on the 7030 and the 7040 series, but when we look at that 7030 series, this is kind of just a little incremental step up from those 5000 series processors that we had. Still that Zen 3 architecture, still DDR4 memory, still AMD Vega graphics. We've done some tweaking within those products to be able to improve that efficiency and be able to give a little bit more performance. But really, we're using technologies that have been out for a bit, which helps with keeping those costs down for those products there. When you look at the lineup, these are offered in the Ryzen 3 up to the Ryzen 7 offerings in the U series products. And they're usually going to be geared towards Lenovo's kind of E and L series devices. So it's not so much of you have to do the processor choosing, it's more of Lenovo has made the decision of where they're putting it in their lineup. And so L and E series is where you're mainly going to see this. It may trickle down to some of those lower end units in there as well. And then when you look at performance, hey, AMD, you're using your older Zen 3 architecture. How do you compare against the Intel devices? Whether a customer is looking at 12th gen or 13th gen Intel processors, AMD is providing a competitive solution with our Zen 3 architecture. So even though it is a little bit of an older architecture, it is still providing great performance, great battery life for those customers there. And then for those that do want the latest and the greatest, they want to be able to have all the next gen bells and whistles. That's where that Zen 4 architecture, those 7040 series come in. Also pairing this with our latest RDNA 3 integrated graphics. So being able to get next gen graphics capability that could even be able to support up to 8K displays, that Ryzen AI capability that we'll talk about here in a minute. And then also offering these processors not only in our U series, that's kind of the main, what most customers are going for, but also in the HS series so that you can expand up in that mobile workstation space. So those ThinkPad P series devices being available within there. And when you look at the performance for those products, AMD provides competitive performance, whether that be a U series or a P series product from Intel. So Intel has gone to this hybrid architecture where they have performance cores and efficiency cores. AMD just has all performance cores that run very efficient. So when you look here across the board in performance, there's some areas where Intel is close in that performance. There's other areas where U series is a little bit behind, but P series is still close in that performance. Overall, AMD is leading in the performance and providing a competitive solution. And then when you look at the battery life for those devices there, you can be able to see AMD is also leading in battery life, not only versus the Intel competition, which you'll see here had a slightly bigger battery, but also against Apple devices. So if you want to go in and try to compete against some of the Apple devices, AMD is a great solution to be able to do that, not only in performance, but also in efficiency and battery life in there as well. And then the new piece is Ryzen AI. So you've probably heard AI, artificial intelligence, it's the hot buzzword going on in the marketplace right now. What AMD did is we acquired a company called Xilinx, and we took that technology and we've now embedded that on die of our processor to be able to accelerate certain AI tasks. Now, this is early on, so it's a little bit of the hardware needed to be there before all the software is fully ready. I'll talk about one software application that's ready there, but really we're trying to future-proof these devices, being able to give customers the capability to one, experiment with AI capabilities by having that hardware there, and then two, being able to take advantage of some of those future technologies that you're going to see coming out there in the future. Now, today, you can be able to use for customers that have Windows 11. There is a capability called Windows Studio Effects that you can be able to go into the settings and turn on capabilities like background blur, auto framing with the camera, eye gaze correction. Now you may say, well, aren't those features that I have today in Teams or other conferencing solutions? A lot of them are features that you have today, but they're having to be done by the CPU or the GPU, which is not as efficient at those tasks as the IPU is. So by offloading those to a more efficient IPU, we can be able to get better battery life. And we can be able to free up the CPU and the GPU to be able to run other tasks and give that end user more performance. And then as we look to the future, I'll show a quick video here of an example application that the AMD kind of did as a test to kind of show customers and other ISVs that are developing solutions what may be available in the future. So here is a PDF document, and AMD uploads this to the solution. This is all running local on the device, but uploads it into the application. And then it will give a summary just by reading through that document. It'll give a quick overview summary of everything that's happening, and then give you the ability to ask questions. So if you got, a 50-page RFP, and that's going to take a lot of time to be able to read through, being able to upload that, get a summary real quick, ask certain questions. Hey, what are the specs that they're asking for? How many systems are they asking for? Those type of information is kind of the goal of that AI capability that we're looking for. Again, this is just a quick demo from AMD, but you're going to see other ISVs, other software vendors coming out with these type of capabilities in the future for these products. Now, you may say, can't I already do this with, ChatGPT and other cloud solutions that are available? You can, but those are cloud solutions. And the biggest thing with cloud solutions is they're constantly training, and they're training on whatever you give them. And so in certain cases, you may not be allowed to give them, an RFP document or being able to use internal documentation. And so by having this run local on your device, you have those capabilities there secured on your device, not releasing your information up to some of those cloud solutions. As I mentioned, this is still an ongoing, development area. You've seen Microsoft talk a lot with things like co-pilots and those kind of things, but AMD is trying to get in early and be able to provide the capability for developers to use this hardware to develop on next-gen systems. So where are these products available? So when we look at the lineup from Lenovo, you kind of have your more entry devices using either those 7020 or 7030 products there in those V and 13W series. And then you move up to the E and L series, also with the 7030 series, which they have a wider range. And then you move up into the XT series with the 7040 series processors, and then coming soon will be the Z series, the Gen 2 devices. So these will be the last devices in Lenovo's lineup to get that update. And then in the workstation side, there's also the mobile workstations, the P14S, the P16S that are those entry workstations, and then also the higher P16V, as well as in the desktop space. You have workstations and the standard desktops. Now, all these are still using the 5000 series of processors. Those will most likely be updated next year when you see kind of those next-gen Zen 4 architectures for a lot of those products in the lineup. But just a little bit sneak peek, AMD is going to continue updating those desktop, not only in the standard desktop, but also in workstations. Threadripper is continuing to get better and better. So for those customers that want those high-end devices, they have that capability to be able to get next-gen processors in the lineup. That said, all the products that are available from today in that workstation are very competitive with Intel's, even the new Intel systems that have been released. So going back to that lineup, don't be afraid. Hey, just because the desktops have 5000 series or these mobile workstations have, these desktop workstations have 5000 series, don't think that AMD is behind the competition. We provide a very competitive solution versus Intel. So I know that's a lot to digest in a quick overview, but any questions? No?
Sounds like you covered it all. All right. Well, if there's no other questions, are you all done, Chris?
That's it. Yep.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for joining us. We'll send up, Chris, if you could send over your PowerPoint, we'll make sure everyone gets that today for our follow-up.
Please. Yeah, sure thing.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.